Hey you guys, it's Heather here. Thanks for coming back to the channel Cash Flowing Life and hanging out with me. I posted earlier this month when I was doing my January budget preview. If you guys wanted to see a mid-month budget report to see what it looks like as we're working our budget throughout the month, and so many of you said yes, so I'm giving you what you want. So today is January 15th. And I'm uploading this video right after I finish editing it. And I'm just going to go over with you guys the income that we have brought in so far this month and what our expenses have looked like so far. So we have paycheck number 1 and paycheck number 2 coming in from my husband. Paycheck number 2 was a little bit less. He ended up not getting a full days of work that week. So it was a lot less than we expected. The reason why his paycheck number 1 was higher was because he ended up getting some overtime hours. So there was some fluctuation there with that. Paycheck number 3, coming up this Friday, is probably going to be a little bit lower. It's probably going to be in the high to mid 500s because I think he said he only got like 37 or 38 hours that week because they had like a half day where they couldn't finish their job, so they had to leave early. That's the one thing when you are in the construction field. My husband is a second-year electrical apprentice of a 5-year program. If the job's not ready, you don't work, and you have to... Like the company that he's working with right now, they're super slow this time of year. So they actually started out, I think last summer they had 15 apprentices and now they're down to 5. And when you're an apprentice and there's no work, you get laid off and you go back to your union hall and hope that they can place you with another job. So we're just really thankful that my husband has been able to stay with this company, and he has really enjoyed working with not all the foremans, but most of the foremans that he's been put on a job with. So we're just really thankful that he isn't a student or an apprentice that has to hop around a lot, because my husband does not do well with change. So we're just thankful that he is working pretty consistently this time of year, and hopefully by March or April, things will speed up. Okay, now for my income and this other income that ended up popping up. So I run my business through a different checking account. And then when I'm ready to make a deposit into our personal checking account, I just write a check and do a deposit. So I'm really bad at transferring money out of my business account into our personal account. And I am often doing it last minute when we're like down a couple $100s in our checking account. My husband, it really irritates him. And I know that I don't even have to go to the bank. I can just take a picture of my check through the app, the banking app on our phone, and then it'll be in our account the next day. I don't know. I just feel like when there's money in our combined checking account, like maybe it's this habit of like having money and wanting to spend it, even though we're working on a budget. Anyways, it's a really bad habit of mine. So I have a ton of money sitting in my, and I'm not saying this to brag, but I have money sitting in my business checking account that I haven't brought over yet, between like my massage practice, beauty counter, and then some money from my Cash Flowing Life Etsy shop. Oh, and speaking of my Etsy shop, this budget that I'm working with right here is an annual budget that tracks what your total projected expense or income was for every category, and it will give you the actuals because it will calculate every single actual column. And then also, if you scroll down, it will give you a balance for that whole month of what your expected income and expenses were. So it's super handy. It's in my Etsy shop. I will put a link down below in the description box to my shop and to this budget if you want to check it out. And they're all basically just Excel downloads. They're all workable. So I feel like it's great for someone who's on a budget and wants to track their expenses. If you're out of debt, this is a great budget for you to start with, or if you don't really care about tracking the debt that you have in like a really specific manner, this one will work too if you just want to like track your payments. If you're working the Dave Ramsey, like debt snowball style, there is a different budget that has a line item of all of the debts, all of the percentages and calculations if you really want to get geeky with it. So yeah, there's a different budget for those of you working the debt snowball. So just check out my Etsy shop, take a look at the budgets, and if you have any questions, you can either leave a comment down below here on YouTube, or you can send me a message in my Etsy shop, and I'll definitely get back to you and help you out to decide which budget is best for you. So, I have not transferred much. I haven't transferred any money over from Beautycounter yet. A little bit from massage. This is mostly me getting cash out of the ATM to fill some of our cash envelopes. I haven't quite made $300 yet this January from Cash Flowing Life, and this is a combination of YouTube income and Etsy shop income. And then we expected a rollover from December of $800. That was actually $857.89. This other category of an unexpected $1,100. My work as a massage therapist, when I was working full-time in a chiropractic office, I was doing a lot of auto accident treatment with clients, and then their insurance company pays me my fee schedule. Basically, they pay for the session. Well, I had I had a lot of people I was working with in 2018, and I had a few claims where either I was having a problem with the client not sending in all of their paperwork, so it dramatically delayed payment. One of them I had to fire as a customer because he refused to fill out some type of paperwork that would release his medical records. He was being really weird about his insurance company not wanting his medical records. And if you don't sign that paper, I don't get paid. So then if I'm not getting paid, I'm not treating you. So I had to fire him. And that was like $1,100 that I was just like, all right, well, I will be very happy if I get paid for this down the road, but I'm not expecting it. And his insurance company was not returning my calls. And then I had another client that I was working with, and his insurance company was randomly denying paying out sessions for really like dumb arbitrary reasons. Like, you know, they needed more information from my soap charts, or the denial reasons on some of the reports is just so stupid, to where I'm just like, you are just basically being an a-hole, and you just don't want to pay for these sessions. So I had another $600 check come in from that. So I had about $1,700. I put some money away for taxes. I did some spending in my business so I just kind of left a little bit in the business, and then I brought the rest over into our income, and the rest that I brought over was $1,100. All right, let's go down to expenses. So we paid our January mortgage at the end of December. So our February mortgage is due. We did get the statement for it. So we'll probably pay our February mortgage in about a week. So we haven't made that payment yet. We did make an extra payment towards our mortgage just a few days ago of just $300. We ended up getting our mortgage below $174,000. So we're like $173,954, I think. So we just made an extra little baby payment because we knew that we would be able to cash flow that, and it's not going to affect our income because we're doing a budget. PGE, we don't have gas in our house, so our whole house is ran by electric. So that is to Reliance connected to our internet. We haven't paid that yet. I actually think that bill's late now. So we don't do online billing with them, but we misplaced the envelope. Usually we pay them right away. So I should probably pay that today. Water and sewer, $74.20. Garbage. So we pay our garbage bi-monthly, and it went up drastically because they are offering more services to us now. And we knew that it was going up. I didn't know that it was going up by almost $20. So basically right now we just have like a small garbage bin, and our recycling is like a small blue bin. Like it's the size of a of a Rubbermaid tote. So it's super small, and they're upgrading the recycling to like an actual garbage big canister. And then they're also offering yard debris services. So before we didn't have yard debris as an option, and you'd have to pay like an extra $5 per big paper bag. So we're really thankful for that, because we end up getting a ton of yard debris from our house because our lot is so big. And the funny story, when we moved into this house 2.5 years ago, our garbage company, we live in a small town, and literally driving to the garbage company, you drive to someone's house, and the business is in their house, and they own property, obviously, but there's like 4 garbage trucks in the driveway, and it was really crazy. But I'm just like, wow, I live in a small town for sure. So I was talking to them about like, okay, like, how do we get like a yard debris bin? What's the extra cost for that? And she told me, oh, we don't offer that service. And I was like, what? So I asked her, I'm like, okay, well, what are we supposed to do with like our yard debris? And she says, oh, well, most people will just like get a metal barrel and burn on their property. And I stopped and I was like, well, I live in a neighborhood, so I don't think I should be burning my yard debris, because I don't think my neighbors would appreciate that. So she basically didn't really give me a solution to my problem, but apparently now we're getting yard debris. So I guess I'll be good from now on. All right, so AT&T $145.02. Union dues, they went up $1, so 50/50, and then the rest comes out later in the month, though. So New York Life is our life insurance, car insurance, IRA payment. Gym membership is $84. I thought it was $85 for some reason. We've done super great on our gas so far this month. My husband hasn't been having to drive too far from work, and I have been doing very minimal driving so far this month. So we will probably barely hit 200. So I'm really excited for that. Gas for the fireplace, we haven't had to fill up either of our small propane tanks, and we're expecting a $300 rollover into the month of February, and my husband gets his first paycheck of February on the 1st, so we'll have more money than that in our account. Next up is kind of our cash envelopes. Some of these aren't truly cash envelopes, so I'm going to have to move them up. So groceries, $484.83. So we haven't actually spent all 500 of that. I have money still sitting in cash envelopes. So I think we have just around $200 left for groceries for the month. And then the same thing with personal money. So we decided to up our personal money from 200 up to 200. Oops, what am I doing? Instead of 150, we just had a talk about that. So we took out $100 on the 1st for each of us, and then I just took out another $100 this weekend to finish off the month. So we both still have personal money left in cash. So that's not completely spent. And then what we're doing with personal money is if we have cash left over in January that's personal money, we're just rolling that cash over into February, because we were chatting about just if there are more expensive things that we want to buy and save up for, we can do that with our personal money and then just keep rolling it over. There's no need to like take the cash that we have left over for the month and like throw it at the mortgage, because I feel like that negates the purpose of personal money, because you can buy whatever you want, you can save for whatever you want. And you know, there's a few things that I want, my husband wants, that are higher price items. So it's going to take us maybe like a month or like 2 or 3 months to save up for it. Like that's our rule for personal money. Your rule can be whatever you want. For animals, I went and got them both food. So that was $66.98. I usually get a larger bag of dog food, which puts us more like closer to the $80 range, but they were out of the larger bag. So I just scooped up the small bag. And that's totally fine for me. I don't care. Car maintenance, we definitely went over, and we actually don't usually do $40 of cash in the car maintenance fund. I feel like this line is here as an intention for me to do it, but I never actually do, which we probably should start doing. So we needed to change my transmission fluid, so he had to get the material for that. And then my front brakes are being kind of weird, and he just changed my brakes 7 months ago, and they need to be changed again. So he went and he got the parts, but he's going to see if he can, if the current, I don't know if they're the pads or whatever, he's going to see if he can be reimbursed if they're still under warranty. So we'll see what happens with that. There might be a credit coming, or who knows, but he wanted to get the parts that he needed so he could do the change next weekend. Eating out and entertainment, yeah, we have already used pretty much all of that. And some of that came out as a debit purchase. So we went out to eat twice already, and then that also includes a snowshoe rental, which we did not have fun snowshoeing. It was not good conditions to snowshoe. So I'm actually a little bit bitter that that cost us $45 and we had a horrible time and cut it short. So we've kind of talked of like, okay, well, if there's something else that we want to do, let's just go ahead and like give ourselves $40 or $50 to do it, because that was just kind of lame. So we might go change that and just go over a little bit. And then house projects. So I've just been buying a few things here and there to help get our house organized. And I purchased a few things for the outdoors. I needed some soil and some starter fertilizer coming up for some plantings that I did. So nothing too big, just little things here and there. And then as you can see right down here, so based off of our projected income and expenses, we are actually over. We're in the negative right now, 1946. So that means that we're going to have to make an adjust. Oh, actually, we don't have to make an adjustment because I actually need to put the $1,100 up here to help balance it out. So that will actually, yeah, that will be a lot better. So what we're doing with this extra $1,080 is we're adding an additional $600 to general savings. So we'll contribute $1,000 towards savings this month. And the reason why we're doing that is my husband's going to need a new car coming up, maybe in like 3 or 4 months. We're kind of starting the browsing process right now and trying to figure out what kind of car we want to look at and what our budget is. We have our 6-month emergency fund, plus we have an extra, right now I think it's around $7,000. So we're trying to debate if we just get him another cheaper car in the $3,000 or $4,000 range and expect to need maintenance in the more near future, or if we spend a little bit more, like maybe $7,000 or $8,000, and get him a much newer car with lower miles. The tricky thing is, like, he drives so much, and we're trying to decide if we just go for the lower price car that will get him through his apprenticeship program, because he has about 3 years left, and then we will be able to afford a much more expensive car, or if we just go with the larger, or we just go with the more expensive car now. So we're just trying to decide what's best for our family with where we're at, where our goals, and then a few other things that could be coming up this year. And then, so then we'll have another $400 balance. So we are actually going to plan on putting another $400 towards this extra mortgage payment. So that will put us just over $1,000 extra towards our mortgage payment for the month, which I'm really excited about. So this is where we're at for mid-January. As you can see, like, some fun things came up this month, like an extra $1,100 that we weren't expecting. Another thing, my beauty counter check did post. So this is like an extra, this is like $100 more than I thought. And the money that I roll over from my business account over to our personal account, is this money is after I take the taxes out and after I save for things that I want to spend for my business. So like I'm not only making $1,000 a month for a massage. I'm not only making $300 for Cash Flowing Life. So these are all just withdrawals after I take out my expenses and my taxes. So I just wanted to put that out there for you guys. This is our budget. This is what mid-January is looking like so far. If you have any questions, comments, leave them down in the comment box below and I'll get back to you. I hope you guys have a great rest of the month and I'll see you back here in the budget in about 2 weeks.